Good morning. Good morning. Happy Sunday, everyone. Happy Sunday. Good morning. Welcome to my craft room. My name is Tina Bickford, and I am the Tatted Stamper. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. You guys know all of this already. If you are here, just click on my buttons. If you're here watching live, go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. If you guys notice, I actually have different glasses on. I don't know if you noticed or not. They're only readers. And I was wearing my tortoiseshell ones, and I think these ones have they have like the blocker or whatever. Good morning, Lisa and Louise. Welcome. Because I work on a computer all day, so I need to have that. And I think they're I want to say they're like 1.5s or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I was working on the project sheet for this card this morning, and everything was blurry. So I had to dig out the 2.5s. I don't know if that's a good sign or not, but it had to happen. Good morning, Mom. Morning, Dad. Morning, Sandra. Sandra from Oklahoma. Thank you for joining. So I haven't seen you guys since last week. How's everybody's week? Mine was okay. Busy. So I have the card that we're going to do today is it's not a card that I've cased, but I kind of feel like it's really simple and somebody has to have done it before. But I was looking at some pictures of my cards. I don't know about you guys, but I take pictures of every card I make, and I have them all saved on a hard drive. But I go back and I look for inspiration in those photos. And so I found a picture of, and I don't remember what it was called, like an open front, some kind of a card. It's I know you guys have seen it, and I don't have an actual example of the card right now. I meant to dig one out, but it's basically where the front of the card has a top and a bottom, and you cut the top, so you cut like 1 inch off the bottom, and then you cut like a 2.5 inch off the bottom, and then you rotate the 2.5 inch panel, and you glue it to the top and the bottom so that the front is open, and it's cool, and it's very easy, and so I had that one that I saw, and then I had gone back to the half hexagon card from Iced Images, or Susan Campfield did a version of it that she called the bandstand card. So I saw that, and I saw like little elements of that I really liked. Like, yes, Louise, like the missing middle. Yeah, I think a lot of people would call it the missing middle. It's super easy to make. So I saw that one, and then the half hexagon. And then Susan Campfield actually did one for one of her Craft to Noon cards that she called Pop-Up Parade or something like that. So I had all three of these cards kind of in mind, and so I came up with the card that we're going to do today. But again, I am not casing this card from anyone because I have not watched a video of it done. But please, if you know of somebody that has done this video, I like to make sure that I give them credit. I know what it feels like to be on the end where people don't. So I would want to give them credit. So if you know, once we get started on this card, if you know someone's done this before, please pop on a comment and let me know so that we can make sure that they get credit for it. Okay. All right. And Judy is joining us from a cloudy Alberta, Canada. My daughter used to live in Alberta, Canada. Let me see. Louise it's been rainy there. Yeah, it's been rainy all week this week too. Yesterday was pretty rainy. Today's crappy. Of course, tomorrow I go back to work, and it's gonna be nice all week. So there's that. All right, let me switch down to the desk camera so you guys can see what we're using for products today. So I'm going to use one of the new in colors, the strawberry slush. This is, well, it's a returning color from what I understand. So I was a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator 20 plus years ago, and I stopped. So this was not a color that I had in my stash. Oh, I didn't realize it was a returning color, but yeah, it is a returning color. So there's strawberry slush. We're going to be using the cheers and sips. I'm just going to be using just the sentiment out of here to do this card, because I'm going to use die cut images from this paper. So this is the Celebratory Sips paper. The colors in this paper are gorgeous, and I don't know if we went through this or not, but I'll just show you real quick. So you've got that paper there. It's got that, like, the Blackberry Bliss and the Mossy Meadow in there, and looks like Pretty in Pink. And then the back side has like stripes. And then this one right here, which is, so this one, the dies that come with this set, you can actually die cut some of these images out. We can die cut all of them out. All of the tall glasses are all the same size, and all of the short glasses are all the same size. But the short glasses that have, like, the sprigs or something in there, obviously the dies aren't going to cut that out. It'll just cut out the glass. So I fussy cut a couple of images out. I did that already because you guys don't want to hear me complain about fussy cutting. Although there is one, I'm going to fussy cut around my sentiment, which is fine. So there's this here with that cute, I don't know, it looks like little flowers. And then this one here, which is kind of cool because you can take the die and lay it on there, and it would actually look like your glass was full. So that's kind of cool. And then that really nice, this is a Lost Lagoon, like a star shape in there. And then this one here with all of the, and you can die cut, I mean, you can't die cut these, but you can fussy cut any of these images out. So we're going to actually be using this one, and the back is that really pretty strawberry slush and Pretty in Pink dotted. And we did that one already. We did that one already, and that one already. And then, so there's this one, which is all of like the garnishes on it. And then this blackish, it's not black. I think this is actually the Secret C. Let me look. Yeah, Secret C. Yeah, Secret C. And I knew that. So that's the Secret C. And then we have this floral pattern here with like orangey stripes. That's the Timid Tiger, one of the other new colors in there. So that's what we're using today. I am working on the project sheet for this one. I will have the project sheet done today and posted and in the description of the video. So there will be that. Let me grab our elements, all of our stuff. Okay. So we're going to be using the strawberry slush cardstock. We're going to be using this. And this, so this piece is, let me just grab my cheat sheet. 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. No scores, nothing, just 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So actually, I wanted to show you that. So the samples that I have, the examples that I have to show you, the other alternates, the dimensions are a little bit different. I don't think you'll be able to see that on camera, the differences. They're very slight. It's this size strip here. I had them a little bit wider. But you guys know, you guys have been watching long enough to know, like, I'm a paper hoarder, and I guess a lot of us are, paper hoarders. And I like to save my paper. And out of a piece of cardstock, I like to get at least 2 cards out of a one sheet of cardstock. Doing the way that I did it for my samples, I couldn't get 2 cards out of a full sheet of paper. I had to dip into a second sheet. So I'm going to show you what I did. I just modified this a little bit so that I could get 2 cards out of one sheet, because we all want to do that. All right, so I'm going to take my 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and along the 11-inch side, I'm going to cut it in half at 5.5. And then I'm going to cut this in half at 4.25. There are my 2 card bases. Then I'm going to take this leftover 5.5-inch wide piece. So these have to be, the length on these is 7.25. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this piece here down to 7.25. And that's going to give me a nice piece of scrap that I can use for sentiments, or, you know, whatever I want to use that for. And now this is 7.25. I'm going to cut this to the width that I have here. So this is 5.5, and this is just, we're just doing math here. This is 5.5 divided by 4. So I could make 4 strips, so that I could have 2 strips for each one of my card bases. So that makes the strips on this the 7.25-inch length, but then it's 1 3/16. So when you wonder why I've got such a weird measurement there, it's because I want to cut these down so that I get 4 out of this sheet, so I can make 2 cards. So that's how I did that. That's how I cut those. We don't have to go through all of those. I'm just going to double check that. Make sure I did. Oh, I said that. It's not. It's 3/8. I said 3/16. It's 3/8. Oh, it's going to be one of those mornings. All right. Let me just move that trimmer out of the way, because we don't need that. So we have our piece that is 4.25 by 5.5. We have 2 pieces that are 7.25 by 1 3/8. And I can see that right on my cheat sheet in front of me, but I still cut it wrong on the sample, of course. All right, so then for our designer series paper, so our designer series paper for this card, you can either use designer series paper, or you can emboss a piece of cardstock. The same colored cardstock, a coordinating colored cardstock. I'm just doing easy stuff today, so I'm going to let my designer series paper do all of the work for me here. This card does not require me to dig out my embossing machine at all. And you guys know I love my embossing machine. So this will end up being layered on our card base. So this piece right here is 4 inches by 5.25 inches. And then each of these pieces, I have 2 pieces of designer series paper here that measure 4 inches by 1 3/16. That's where my 1 3/16 came in. I was looking at the wrong place on my cheat sheet. Okay, so I have those. And then we have a window sheet. The window sheet measures 4 inches by 2 inches. This can be any length you want, depending on what you have for elements you want to put on the front. I have a piece of white cardstock this was just a scrap piece of white cardstock, but I'll tell you what the measurement is. It's 1 inch by 2 3/4 inches. This is the measurement that I'm putting on the project sheet, but I am putting a note in there that you just size this to whatever size your desired sentiment is. Okay, that's actually going to be too big for the sentiment I want, but it was a piece of scrap, and I am all about using my scraps. And then I fussy cut 2 glasses, or 2 little cocktails out of that designer series paper. So we're going to use those. Okay, let's get to the fun stuff. You're like, yeah. We know what you're using. Get to the fun stuff. Let's move all of this out. Okay, so on each of these strips, is we're going to start. On each of these strips, we're going to score these. And I'm going to score, so in the project sheet, I have the actual measurements from one end right up to the other, but what it works out to is every half inch, 3 scores. So you have 3 scores every half inch on each end. So we're going to do, I'm using this side of my paper trimmer because it's just easier. So I'm going to score that at a half inch, and then at 1 inch, and then at 1.5 inches. And I'm just going to rotate it and do the exact same thing because it's just easy. So half inch, 1 inch, and 1.5 inches. And then I'm going to just do the same thing on the other one. I probably could have had this one all done for you. You didn't have to watch me do this. And 1 inch and 1.5. And 1. And I don't, so some of you that are watching are actually Paper Pumpkin subscribers. I'll mention this because one of my alternates for this card that I'm going to show you is using one of the Paper Pumpkins, of course. And I haven't posted it on the Facebook group yet because I didn't do this video, but I will be posting that shortly. And I just, so I finished up. So those of you who do know, I did just finish, I finished the, which one was it? Which one was it? The newest one, the Inked Occasion. So I finished that one finally. I got used up all of my elements. And then I went to put it aside and realized that I still had elements left from the Daisy Daydreams and the Hearts for You. So I went through yesterday and I did all of my, so I made a bunch of alternates for both of those. I'm going to be posting those over on the Paper Pumpkin Facebook group later today. Let me grab my Stampin' Seal. Okay. So what we're going to do here, I found this to be the easiest way. You can do this step after if you want. The designer series paper is going to be adhered to each one of these, and it's going to be in the center section between these two innermost score lines. I found it easiest to put this in place while this was still flat rather than trying to do it while this thing is all popped up. So I made this card, this exact same card yesterday, and I used this designer series paper this way on the panels, and then I flipped it over for the inside. I'm going to do the whole thing with this dotted one. So I'm just going to come in here with my seal adhesive, and we're going to, and because this side is not directional, it doesn't really matter which way, but I'm just putting it so that it's got an equal border from side to side and score lines. Do that with both of those. And put that one in there. Like so. All right. So then I'm going to come in with, we're going to fold these. Now, how we're folding these is I'm going to start with either end. It doesn't really matter because they're just kind of opposite each other. So you're going to fold mountain, valley, mountain. And then if you flip it over, you're going to do the same thing. Mountain, valley, mountain. So you end up with a piece that looks like this. Like that. And then we're just going to squish it. Squish, squish. Come in here and squish this one too. Do the same thing with this side. And with this side. Squish. Okay. Now, I'm going to put tear and tape on these end sections. You can use liquid glue, but obviously if you're using liquid glue, you're not going to do this until you get to the next step where we're putting it on the card base. So I'm just going to put it on that end section, each end section, like so. And it's okay. This one went over the edge. This is okay, because you can just roll it right up on itself. Thank you, Louise. Yes, I'd like to make as many cards out of my supplies as possible because, you know, I want to be able to get the most out of my money, and that's how I'm going to do it. All right, so I'm just going to do that. I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm just going to lift one section. Now, again, this Designer Series paper is not directional, so this part does not matter. I'm going to do this on each one. I'm just going to lift that one side up. I'm going to leave this side, and anything that's hanging over for that tape, I'm just going to roll it right on itself. I'm going to now grab my card base. Okay, so I'm going to put one of these on the top and one on the bottom. The way that this is going to go on is this score line here is going to line up evenly with the side of my card base. And then whichever, whether it's the top or the bottom, this edge is going to line up with the top of the bottom. This is where, if you're using liquid glue, you got that nice wiggle room where you can kind of wiggle it around. I've made quite a few of these. It doesn't mean that I'll get them in place. So all I'm doing here is I'm lining this edge up with the top and my score line with that. So I can come in this way and do it this way. Just lining that up. And it is important to get this first side lined up. So there, you can see now that is lined up evenly here and then lined up evenly here. And I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'm just going to line that right up where I can see it best. And hold your breath, and there. I got that one up a little bit too much. Yeah, it's good enough. It's not too bad. All right. Now I'm going to flip this over, and I am going to, one at a time, I'm going to pull the tape, the backing tape, the release paper off. This one I had extra, so I'm just going to roll that up on itself. The way I found easiest so we're going to adhere this piece over here onto this corner, same as what we did here. But the easiest way to do it is just to kind of squish down all of these folds here. Let me just zoom in a little bit so you can actually see. There. So I'm going to squish down all of these folds here and hold them down. And then I'm going to squish down these ones, and I'm going to hold this between my fingers, and I'm going to lay that down evenly so that I know that that folds evenly and flat, just like that. So now we have this. And we're going to do the same thing on the bottom. So I'm going to peel that release tape up. And I apologize, my watch keeps dinging. I forgot to turn it on Do Not Disturb. All right, so I'm just squishing all of these down, holding these ones down with my finger, my pinky, whatever, and then holding all of those together and just pressing down. So now we have those. Let me zoom back out. So now we have this, like so. Now we're going to put the Designer Series paper in. Now you can do this. I will say this. I want my little tabs on the inside hidden. That's just me. If you don't care about those little tabs on the inside there showing, the ones that are glued down like those right there, if you don't mind those showing, you can put your designer series paper on the card base first and then just do the step that we just did. That's not what I wanted to do. I want them hidden. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my glue on this and I'm going to slide this in and I'm going to adhere it to the card base. The way I found best to do that gives me the most wiggle room for it is to actually take the 1-inch score mark and just fold them out this way. It just gives me a little bit more room. This is temporary. Those are going to get squished back in. Okay. So now I'm going to use my liquid glue on this because I want the wiggle room in here for putting this on there. Okay. There. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to hold it up so it's not touching my card base yet and getting glue all over my card base. And I'm just going to slide it in there. And then when I get it in there, I'm going to make sure it's even from side to side. And then I'm looking also under each side here just to make sure that it's even there. Now the thing is, that doesn't need to be even because it's going to be hidden. So here we go. Just give that a nice gentle press like so. And then we're going to come in here and just push those 1-inch score lines back in. So now we have cute. All right. Another tip, trick, whatever we want to call it, for our window sheet. All right. So first step is we have to put our tear and tape on each side of the window sheet. So I'm just going to do that. I am putting it right up to the edge, but not, that stuff is sticky. Right up to the edge, give that a good press, pull that off, pull that tear and tape right off, like so. All right. To do this, I'm going to zoom in. All right, so what I did with this, I'm going to slide it in and I'm going to set it right down on the card base and I'm going to position it wherever I want it. I'm going to position this one. You can do it in the center. I think this one I'm actually going to do to one side. Now, the reason that I lay it down on the card base with the tape side up, obviously, is I can tell if it's off center, if it's crooked, if it's whatever. So I can position that all day long without it sticking. So just like that, I'm going to get it into the place where I want it. Make sure it's straight. Make sure I can see that tape is going to be hidden on both sides. I'm hovering over my camera just so that I can make sure it's straight. All right, so I have that now straight. All I'm going to do is press down on my card and it picked it up. That was it. Okay. Now I go back in and I make sure I press where that tape is and I make sure that that tape is adhering, and you can flip it over and press real hard on there. There you go. So now we have our window sheet firmly adhered and straight. I was doing on the other cards that I was doing, I was trying to put it on this one and get it adhered there, and I'd go here and it was crooked and I had to, what a mess. Okay. So now I'm going to take the, so I'm going to actually stamp my sentiment first. So let's stamp the sentiment, and I'm going to be using the word cheers, my block, and get my strawberry slush and just stamp that on there. Put it aside, and then we're just gonna, I'm gonna fussy cut around this real quick so that we have all of these elements all set, ready to go to put on our front. And it's what I have learned from watching other demonstrators fussy cut around sentiments is that you really don't have to be as fussy around the sentiments. You just need to give it a, you know, basic shape. So I was trying to cut around everything, leaving the exact same spacing around to everything, and wow, it was driving me crazy. So I am going to, we're going to place these on here. So we just have to figure out how we want these things on our card. So I want to be able to see this lime. So I'm going to place them like that, but I also want to be able to see all of this garnish. So I'm going to place them like offset like this on the card. Okay. I am going to use, you can use tear and tape, you can use seal, you can use whatever you want. You can use glue dots for this part. I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal just because it's easy. And I'm going to place this one on that window sheet like so. Kind of looks like it's floating in there. And then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to bring it down a bit here and put that there. And then I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of this. And I ran out of my Stampin' Up! Dimensionals, so I'm using these other dimensionals. I think I got them from Amazon, like, I don't know. But the backings on these ones don't peel off nearly as easily. All right, so then I'm just going to take my sentiment and I'm going to put my sentiment right here on the window sheet so that the sentiment really looks like it's floating. And then you can embellish this. You know, you can add more down here. You can add whatever you want, but it's kind of springy, but it stands for display like this. Cool. So I'll be making a few more. Oh, so this is our card. It's that easy. Simple, simple. Easy peasy. Easy, easy, easy peasy. Okay. So let's look at some of the alternates. This is the one that I did. Oh, I feel a sneeze coming. This is the one I did. I'm not zoomed there. Oh, that mess. So I did this one. I just cut out a taller glass and this. And then when I stamped my sentiment on my little white scrap piece, I stamped "It's Your Day" under the cheers. And I used the Blackberry Bliss to do that. But the same thing, I just used the different sides of the Designer Series paper. And I did that because this Designer Series paper behind here, I felt like it was just a little bit too busy to see the drinks and the sentiment. So there's that one. So there's the same thing there, same. This one's a little bit flatter because it's been in the envelope and not springy. So this is one that I did. I had this this piece die cut. I was just playing with the layers of beauty, and I just wanted to play with some non-traditional colors for the roses, and I didn't know what I would use it for. So I did the blending, I die cut it out, and I just set it aside, and I thought that, you know what, perfect for this card. Perfect. And I embossed the two panels here, and I did not put an embossing panel on the back. And I didn't do that because this element is so large on here. So this one does not use a window sheet. This really just uses the one element that you glue to the top and the bottom, and it's completely open on the sides. And I would, on these ones, I would definitely, like, I would have to add a piece of white cardstock. I have not done that to either of these yet, but I would add a piece of white cardstock on the back, or you could even stamp a sentiment on the back already, like this one, happy anniversary or whatever, on the back of this one before you start gluing anything onto it while it's still flat. And then I did this one here, this little sympathy card. This is using the Pretty Florals dies and just a little sentiment. This is that Woven Textures designer series paper. You can see this one, I have a narrower piece of window sheet in here, and this one is in the center. So there's that one. Oops, place these in here so you can actually see them. Like so. And then I did this one here. So this one I used I used white card stock for my card base, and then I used the cloud cover, one of the other new in colors, a cloud cover, cardstock embossed with the soft waves. I did a little bit of ink blending on the back just to give it a little bit of shadow, and stamped the birds. And then I just added my sentiment down here. And this guy is on a very narrow strip of window sheet because I really just used the a piece of window sheet that I had, like that. So there's that one. Oh, thank you, Louise. Yes, I like that. I like that springy kind of thing. And I will say, like, this one has been in an envelope for a little while. It still springs, but it doesn't, like, it's not popped up as much as the ones that are, it's not as wide, but it's not, it's barely noticeable, like that. There's that one. And then, yay, my Daisy Daydreams. This was using like strips from just random strips that I had. I fussy cut the bee out, and I put this one off to the side so that you can see this. When this folds down, when it's folded down, this flower does not match up exactly with this flower, nor does this one match up with this one, but it's so, like, you can barely tell. And when it's popped up, you really can't tell. It looks like a continuous flower. So, and I put this on early espresso for my card base. Now you could, if you wanted to, you certainly could put little strips of designer series paper on each section here. I didn't really see much point to it, but I like, pulling in that card base color. So there's that one. So those are my alternates. Let me see. Let's see. Okay, let me hold on. Let me just grab, oh yeah, we have lots of time. So I'm just gonna grab, I just grabbed my 3 paper pumpkins. Let me move these out of the way. Cute. And look how, look how, like, stacking these up on the table, they stack up so high. They're funny. I'll have to put a weight on them to kind of keep them down. All right, so for my for the paper pumpkin one, this was just an envelope. This is part of an envelope that I use. This is really super simple, and I just stamped on it, put some embellishments, little gold pen along there, cut the edge of the cardstock to mimic the arch of the envelope, and then just easy peasy. This was an envelope front here that I did, and this was like, I just, at this point I was kind of running out of steam, but this one I just popped this up on dimensionals, just my 2 3/8 inch circle punch. Love This Life is out of meant to be stamp set. So this is just on white little blending around there. This is one of those like the envelope, the faux envelope card that we did, I think it was last week. And I let the envelope do all of the work. I embossed this. This is not a Stampin' Up! Embossing folder. This is one that's a Cricut or a Cuttlebug that I've had for years, but I thought it kind of matched the daisy look of the daisies, and just popped a couple of elements in there. Now with this, when I did, and I thought about this afterwards, and I don't think I have, oh, you guys, I got my new Tombow glue holder yesterday from the Country Hive. I love it. My little purse. Love it, love it. But you could take a gift card if you didn't put so I have dimensionals. If you watch the video, I have dimensionals down here, in here, and then I have one dimensional kind of in the center there. But you could actually use this as a gift card holder or something. You could tuck. This one's gonna hit. This one's hitting the dimensional, but you could tuck a gift card right in there if you wanted. So there's that one, and then a couple more just to use up the envelopes in this one. This one, and I did this one. This is just using up some. These are all scraps that I had just sitting around. And then this one here. This one was a little bit different. That I had this side of the envelope. I didn't have the other side, so that I couldn't do this with the tabs. I only had this side here, and I had the flap. And because I did one here where the daisies were actually upside down, I wanted to do one that was upside right. So all I did here was kind of the opposite. I put the flap up on dimensionals, and I just embossed that, and it's all right just on a white card base. That one. This one, again, so this one is just doing the same thing. I stamped and fussy cut this little guy. This is just I don't know, some cheap embossing folder that I got from Amazon. Lace. Did that one, and then this one here. Kind of the same as that other one. And then I did this one here, which is, the same thing as this, but I had some Misty Moonlight hexagon. So this is actually just one. I put one piece up here and one piece up here. So just like so. And I used the same technique that we did last week for getting those little, and they're called tittles. And I know that that's a weird, funny word. But to get those on there. So this one I actually layered on the Mossy Meadow cardstock, and this one I wanted just on, because I had the Misty Moonlight here. I just wanted it right on the card itself, because it was too much. I tried it on like putting it on Misty Moonlight or white, and it was just too much, and I didn't want any kind of yellow or orange. So yeah, I thought that one came out good. So I think that's all the ones from this kit that you haven't seen yet. And like I said, if you're in the paper pumpkin, you have probably seen these ones posted, because I posted those. And then the inked occasions, this one I posted. This is one of those. It's the same, envelope style thing. I had a bunch of these scraps. So Louise, when you talk about using the scraps, this, I had cut this piece off of one of the card bases to fit it down to one of my other cards, and I couldn't resist just stamping a little sentiment on there and using the rest of this just to add to that. So how gorgeous is that? Gorgeous grape. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous grape and pool party. Those just really simple colors like that. You thought you were done with the inked occasions. Yeah, all of this came up. I'm like, oh geez, But yep, here I am doing all of these again. So I did, so this one here, I posted this one. This one, I had this little strip of scrap. So what I did was I cut a slit in the card base from here to here, popped the bottom half up on dimensionals to make like a little pocket. And I just started tucking some stuff down in there. I cut two of these little plumeria flowers from scraps of the card bases that I had with some gorgeous grape and melon mambo. And just did that one. This one's really just simple. Another scrap. I just layered it right behind a sentiment that I popped up on dimensionals. This is just one of those envelopes. And this was the case with these the envelopes for this kit. Is you had one side that was really pretty, but the flap and the other side were just plain white. So that's, I needed to find something to do with the envelopes, but which is where I came up with this one here, you know, this style. So this is just using one embossing, so because this envelope paper is very thin, when you emboss it, I did find that it tore very easily. So I just leaned into that and tore the bottom right off of it. And so we did that one. And this is another one of those using one of those scraps. Just use a scrap, made it my sentiment tag. This one's really simple. This is literally just stamping on the envelope, embossing it, layering it, and throwing a tag on it. And this is the same one, but just different colors. This is one that has gotten a lot of likes on the Facebook group. This is just taking a card base, and I emboss it. When I embossed it using the Happy Hibiscus, I was very strategic about how I placed it in the folder so that I could get a flower that was in the purple, and then get the center of this hibiscus in this peach pie. So there's that one. And same thing, I did this little sentiment tag just using a scrap that I cut off. And then of course, you guys, I had to do my diagonal open front, my signature card here. So I did this one. And this is same thing. This is literally taking one of those, oh, I'll show you this one. So this one here, this was one of the card bases here where you had this open space in the middle. So this one I just stamped, I die cut from the I think that's from the Fancy Borders, I think, and then layered it on Summer Splash, and you know, put the flower on there. This one, all I did was just stamp the flowers right in that open white space. That's all I did there. And then of course we had to do a half hexagon. So I put, I don't even know if you, I don't think I put a picture of the back of this on, but there's the back, using that up, stamped a couple of butterflies, used the embossed panels on the back there. And then when you open it, I actually used window sheets on all three sides instead of just the front. And that's because I had these little small elements left after cutting that I wanted to utilize. So I think this one here, I'm actually going to try to put maybe a little butterfly or something on this one and make the butterflies float. Love it. And of course, the 9 panel. We've done this one. There's a video on this. How that's simple. Once you get the math right, it's pretty simple. And this one was just taking, this is, again, not a Stampin' Up! Die, but this is just a nested die where I used every other one, created this eclipse kind of look, tucked in some leaves and layered that on there. This one I wanted to see how this would look on the Berry Burst. And I just used, these are just scraps. These are scrap pieces. This one actually was a piece of scrap. This is because I cut a card base wrong when I was doing one of these others. And I went, oh, shoot, and needed to figure out how to do something with that. So that was the result of that. This is the one, this is again the same one. This is that same card base that I cut wrong. Just used up the scraps. And then this one here. So this one, all I did, how simple is this? The only thing I stamped this flower on the card base, on one of the halves of card base in black, the Memento black. And I took my blending brushes and just followed the way that the color went with the cardstock, and I just blended some color in the flowers and in the stem, and one simple stamp on the bottom there. And then this one, of course, with the cake, just putting the cake in that white space there. There's that one. And then this one, and I think I did this one. So doing the same thing, using the, tearing that and using the sentiment, the scrap for the sentiment. And then we did, how we doing on time? Okay, well, and this one here is real simple. I just put a little gold strip, a strip of gold cardstock on each side of that and layered that on there. And this one did kind of the same thing, but instead of putting the gold on the outside, I put the gold on the inside and then stamped in that negative space there. This one where I just used that awesome bow punch and the what is that? Layering leaves stamp set there. And look at this. This was that one. That's one of the envelope ones. I forgot to show you that one. So there's that one. Then I did, don't see it. I just layered this on black. This kind of reminded me of like cloud or something. I don't know. And I just threw some flowers on there. So there's those. Oh my goodness. This kit here, I think I got 33 cards out of this kit. Yeah, I think I got 33. So then I worked on so I had the Daisy Daydream, and then I worked on the one with all of the hearts. This one right here. This one, which was the what is this, Hearts for You. This is probably I got probably the least amount of cards out of this one, but I think these ones did all of those ones you guys have seen. This one got a lot of love on the Facebook. So from the April, the April one, Louise, I think it was like 33 or 36. I got quite a few doing those. So I just used up some scraps for this one. This is this is one of those I said, okay, this is one that I said you can actually tuck stuff into the envelope front. So really simple. I just tucked that right into the envelope. I was strategic about where I put my my dimensionals and didn't put one there so that I could put that right in there. This one, you want to talk about using scraps. I had this piece here, and I had, these are 2 strips from envelopes, and then I had this little teeny tiny strip. This strip is it's like a half inch wide, and then I cut it in half and fit it, one little piece on the top, one little piece on the bottom, so that it looks like a strip going all the way through under that. It is not. It is literally just what you see there. Boom. And then, here's another one that's this one is using that same, using this same thing, but what I did was, instead of using it upside right, so the heart's upside right, I flipped it sideways and I layered more hearts on it. So you can still see just a hint of that heart in the back. Looks like it's just a shadow of the pink heart. Layered it on, with the Soft Waves. And then I did this one. So using the that pink card base, and I just die cut all of the flowers out of it. Cut this. I had this pink part cut on an angle already to do one of those open diagonal open fronts, and it didn't work out. So I just took one of those strips of hearts, put it on an angle, put a little flower there, layered on black. Good to go. This one here, I think I got the fewest number of cards from. I think I only got like 21 cards, but I did make a bunch of, like, out of the envelopes, I did make a bunch of little gift bags and stuff out of the envelopes. So I didn't get quite as many cards because I did stuff like that. So there's all of those. Yay. All right. Let me flip back to the camera, my laptop. Oh, let's look at some of these. Oh my goodness. Oh, my camera. There I am. Let me see. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you. I love these cards too. And my new favorite way to use up the envelopes in the kits. I mean, I like plain white envelopes when I'm sending the cards, and then I just do something fancy with the tag, with the flap. So that's all I do there. Let me see. The one before the envelope looks like a pair of red lips. It sure did. All right, Sherry, thank you for watching. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate the love. So I will have the project sheet for this card, this little springy, so I'm calling it, what did I call it? The floating element box card, because I don't really know. I'm going to call it that. I'm going to do the project sheet. I'll have the project sheet done. So right now in the description of the video, you see all of the links. You see the link to follow me over on Facebook at the Tatted Stamper. There is a link to invite yourself to my Pinterest board if you want to share your versions of these cards with me. I would love to see them there. Also, if you follow me over on Facebook, when I post the alternates, when I put the post in there with the alternates and the link to the YouTube video, you can add a comment to that, adding a picture of your cards there too. I just love cards, and I just would love to see your versions of it. So you can do that. There's also in the description of this video, there's a link to shop with me if any of you don't already have a demonstrator and you're interested in any of these products. What else? The link to the project sheet will be there. Right now it just says coming soon. I'm working on that. There's a list of the very small list of products that we used for today's video. And yeah, so if you are watching and you're not already subscribed, like I know so many of you are, thank you so much. If you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram also. I don't post a lot of stuff on there. I have a hard enough time keeping up with YouTube and Facebook and, my full-time job. So, so I will get better about Instagram once I really get these other two down. And yeah, we can go from there. So I will be back next Sunday. This is supposed to be with my Take Your Pick tool. This is supposed to be a really good weather week for us here. So I'm planning on spending a little more time outside after work and not, crafting. So yeah, I will be back next Sunday, and I'll figure out what kind of a card we're going to do in the meantime. And yeah, so thank you all so much for joining me. Thank you for watching me. Thank you for spending your Sunday morning with me. I really appreciate all of you, and I appreciate all of the feedback and all of the positive comments while I'm doing the video. It really makes me feel great about continuing these videos. And yeah, so I will see you all next Sunday. Until then, be good. Have a great week. Bye.